So welcome. So this Renee works. He's one of the trustees of Sophia Point, but he's also worked for Conservation International.
Right. Welcome. Thank you.
So behind you, you're looking at the house that was here when we bought the property. This was built by Bernard, the German, and it's built actually on the sort of design of a boat. He lived on a boat. It's got a central mast in the middle, and it's a hexagon. And all the rooms are built on the central mast. It's greenhouse. It's been here now 20 years, yeah. And it's still in perfect condition. So then, as you may or may not, which is over here, and we're very proud.
Very good work.
Yeah.
Give me Robert.
Robert, very good to meet you. Very good to meet you. I'm so pleased you were able to come as well. So we only finished the building about 3 months ago. When I came 2.5 months ago, when we called you, everybody else said UK and others came in. We came to Guyana. There was no grass here. So this has grown in the last 2.5 months, only in Guyana, if that's possible. No, you're in the exact right side. We're going to take you for a short walk
Look at this man in the natural environment. When people in the natural environment, you know, it's like this. You're lucky he's well dressed right now. Normally he's much less dressed. And you have a brand.
I like it to be much better than you are in this.
And all the everything's good.
Irfaan, photograph. Try that in Portugal. In Spain now.
Great pleasure.
Remember the event in Portugal?
Yes, of course.
Now retired in Spain. Visiting with me.
Very good. Enjoying
So you've
the
had
green, fresh,
Yeah.
nature blessed
It's starting
land.
to get cold in Spain now.
Yeah.
And we had a terrible
Yeah, they must slide.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to clean up.
Not
Yeah. And I see they had more rain fell in 2 hours than the entire year. Now was it?
something like that. Yeah. And Prime Minister locked himself up in the car. But you would not do that. They stole the king, and the Prime Minister was sitting in his car.
Be careful, airline.
Edit that.
No,
Eddie, edit
they're
that.
not. They're not.
Right, so we're going to take you
Eddie,
to the
you're
centre.
everywhere, but call us in Banana.
Hello, Ma. Vice Chancellor. Yes. Everybody's here. Right, you can here, come this way.
Sorry.
And so thank you everybody else for coming. Foreign Secretary, we're really delighted as Chair of the Protected Areas Commission that you have joined us today after we've signed the MOU with the Protected Areas Commission this morning, which we'll talk a little bit about later. And Deputy Tushau Thank you. He is here on behalf of all the local community here that we have built this centre in sidestep with the local community, and we're really happy that you and all the councillors have joined us on this very special day. So everybody else, oh, now it is on, I can hear it's on now. So thank you everybody else who's come all this way, surprise guests and all the, as well as invited guests, and everybody who works on the site, everybody here who's worked for so long, including Desmond, who has been here from the very beginning. So thank you all very much. I'm just going to say a few words about how Sophia Point came into being and what the purpose is. I'm then going to hand over to Elsa, our Centre Director, who's going to give a short presentation on what we've been doing here and what our plans are in the future. And we're going to make this quick because we know you don't have very much time. We're then going to invite the Deputy Tushao to say a few words on behalf of the local community, and then Jason on behalf of Protected Areas Commission, and then we will go for a short walk in the rainforest. So, I first came to Guyana 20 years ago. My husband's parents are born and bred in Guyana. My husband was born in the UK. He didn't come here until he was 18 years old, but since then has been every year. So very soon after we were married, I came to Guyana, and I fell in love with it, and I don't think a year has passed since then that I haven't been here. And so as a total of my life, I've now spent quite a lot of time in Guyana. And so it's very dear to my heart. The Essequibo River we have visited many times. And about 5 or 6 years ago, we were in Baganara, at Baganara Island, and we were brought to this site here by Bernard, the German scientist who had spent a long time looking across Guyana for a spot of perfect biodiversity of which he understood and knew a lot about. And he found this spot and built the house that is over there that the Centre Director lives in now. And he had an imagining that this site would be a place where that biodiversity could be looked at and understood in over the future years. And we were shown this site, and this was a moment, a really important moment in kind of the global sort of consciousness, if you like, of climate change and understanding biodiversity and understanding the climate. And it was a moment 6 years ago where we, who would talk a lot about Guyana, in the rest of the world, most people do not know where Guyana is and do not understand its extraordinary richness. I grew up with David Attenborough in the UK, and he made his first book and his first television programme about Guyana, and he talked then in the late 1950s about how much biodiversity was here in Guyana, but that it hadn't been sort of recorded, if you like, and wasn't understood. And it became sort of evident some years ago in discussion with Paloma at the University of Guyana and Priya Maharaj, who sadly can't be here today, the Dean of the Biodiversity Centre, that there was an amazing site, Iwaprama, for people to do research, but that it wasn't accessible really, or easily accessible for students at the university, and that there was a huge need for an accessible centre for students as well as scientists locally to do research and to understand the extraordinary resource that Guyana has here in the forest. And so we decided that this was the perfect site to set up a research station. And we have done it with the University of Guyana from the very beginning, and with the local community from the beginning, in order that it could be used to really fully understand Guyana's sort of most precious resource, which is the rainforest. And the Tushao and the Deputy Tushao have both spoken extensively on the subject, but I want to just sort of quote the Tushao, because he said at the last meeting that we had here 3 months ago that his 10-year goal was that he would become a scientist. And he talked about how actually the process of science is really recording recording things so that we can basically pass knowledge to other people. And that is across generations, but it is also across the world. And so that is the primary purpose of Sophia Point and why it's been set up. And that is, you know, at the heart of how we have set it up. Actually, the business of building it, building anything is not straightforward, as probably everybody here knows. And there are two reasons that we are very proud to say that this building was on time and on budget, which I think is unheard of across the whole planet, but is definitely a challenge when everything has to come down river and is in the middle of nowhere. And the first reason that we achieved this is because we forensically planned every last bit of this building. It started, the design is based actually on Desmond's Benab that he built, and then he has built another one for the staff accommodation here, and the Benab, as you know, is built with materials from the rainforest, and it has a sort of lifted ceiling so that you get air through. And we built this with a lifted ceiling. There are no walls pretty much in the building. And so it was based on that Benab, but the materials are, as far as was possible, all locally sourced in Guyana, and sustainability sort of was at the heart of it, but also we wanted to make sure every single thing was bought. We only had one barge that came down with absolutely everything in it. We did practice grouting in Georgetown. Every last detail of this building was forensically planned before we actually built it. And so the second reason that it was on time and on budget is because over 80% of the workforce who built it were from the local Amerindian community. And I must tell you that they were the most extraordinary workforce. They worked 24/7 and incredibly hard and were really invested in the building. And, you know, so every bit of this building was built pretty much by them, and we're incredibly grateful, but it's a tribute to them that this building looks like this and was built on time and on budget. I could answer questions, but I'm very aware that we want to go quickly and with speed, so I perhaps will come back to more details later on if there are any questions. But the last thing I want to say is that sort of just before we started actually building this building, the local community came to us and said that they had been offered to do some mining in the land around Sophia Point. And that it was a big decision as to whether to take this work on, because it would have been work for the local community. And they sat and they had a discussion about what is science and what is education. And they made a decision that they wanted to prioritise the building of Sophia Point and prioritise science and prioritise education and prioritise the conservation and the ability for us all in the local community in Guyana, but in the global community, to think about what it is that we have here around us. And so I want to just thank the local community for that, and to say, before I hand over to Elsa to give a presentation about the centre, that idea of education and science in terms of knowledge sharing is at the heart of it all. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and to address this wonderful delegation of people. So I'm just going to give you a brief introduction on what Sophia Point is, what we've achieved, and what we're looking to achieve in the future. So along with Sophia Point and our other partners, such as through the PAC that we signed today, we see Sophia Point as a beacon of hope for biodiversity in a time where globally we are at a point of biodiversity and climate crisis. Our mission is to support the transformation of education, conservation and research of Guyana's rainforest. So our priority areas can be mapped across 3 specific areas. So we're looking at research, education and community. By research we mean looking at creating innovative ways, integrating traditional knowledge and science and making sure those intellectual property rights remain in Guyana. Education, facilitating educational access to the natural environment, be it from all sorts of different levels, from young people in the local community to university students and postgraduate students in the University of Guyana, first and foremost. And then the community, a big part of the work that we do is around community, so we want to champion the rainforest and the indigenous communities. So I'll just talk briefly a little bit about the research that we're focusing on. So it started with a rapid biodiversity assessment, and that was to understand what we have here in our small patch. And it was a phenomenal result. There was species that we just did not expect to have in such a small patch, and also surrounded by, we have local communities nearby, we have a little bit of disturbance, and we have forest logging, but we have jaguars, we have bush dog, we have all sorts of really, really special species. So we're looking at scaling that up, and we're looking at creating long-term monitoring data sets which are available to conservation organisations. So we were very successful, and we got some nice donor funding, so we were able to buy some camera traps, run some training, do some work with the local community, and we've set out 20 camera traps in the area, so that will give us some long-term understanding of this. Long-term understanding, and help us to understand what we have and what sort of density they are. So hopefully we can press play on these. So it is the land of the giants, and here is a giant anteater, which hopefully is going to play. Yay! So this is in the forest just back here. We regularly pass his home where he lives, but yeah, he got caught on the camera, which is good. And then on to this beautiful, beautiful jaguar. It took us a little while to get a front shot, but we did get the front end.
Can you just tell everybody that jaguar camera trap was the day after the
It was the day before.
walked on that
Yeah.
exact spot.
Yeah, it was the day before, so it was pretty special. Moving on, please. So as I said, for us to make this sustainable and have impact on the community and support things like the village community planning, one thing that we're doing is training and capacity development. So we've already run a field guide and to create jobs as a research assistant for local people, and that was delivered by a Guyanese wildlife biologist, and he was teaching the foundations of ecological survey and health and safety in the forest, so that people from all walks can be safely taken into the forest and have a great experience. Then on to education. So we have already hosted a field group here, so University of Guyana field group came here. It was their third year undergraduate vertebrate zoology groups. They're looking at studying mammals and birds, and for the majority of them it was their first time in the field coming here, which was me growing up. When I was going to university, I was in the field right from day one, so it's a really, really important thing to get students, when they're learning about the natural environment, they need to be in the field, they need to learn those technical skills and those field training skills. We've also hosted multiple final year University of Guyana research projects, international PhDs, volunteers, inventory groups, and just as a testament to what we don't know what's in the forest, we had a PhD student come and identified some new insect species. So I think it's really exciting we know that the forest is amazing, but we don't know how amazing it is yet. So it's really important that we keep up with this. And then education capacity building. So we've set up a Champion of the Rainforest project, which is a 6-week school environmental education program, which is a link between both the UK and Guyana primary school, and that helps to do cross-cultural learning about what the rainforest means and what the natural environment means. And one of the things we'd like to do in the future is set up nature camp and work in partnership with the likes of the PAC and other, like the South Rupununi Conservation Society, who've got some good experience in that. So nature camp next year is a big thing that we're looking forward to, so getting kids and getting them immersed. So our community work, so one of the first things that we did here was we had a community open day where we had the open doors for the local community, because it was really important that the community get a sense of ownership of this place and know what's going on and understand the opportunities that are available. It was a phenomenal day. We had 120 community members from the local community come, and we're planning another one in partnership with Tushao next year. So we're going to have those as regular so that the community can regularly come and experience the Sophia Point. And one of the things that we will continue to do is doing training and capacity development for the local community. So we ran a GBV workshop with a Guyanese-based organisation here at Sophia Point. So that's something that we will continue to doing. And then I think what's really important, and today is a testament to that, is that Sophia Point is a place to convene people and to convene people around conservation, research, education, biodiversity, climate. So we hosted one day of Concordia, which Your Excellency was not here, but you were there at, and you made some amazing announcements. And to support that, we've done our MOU with the Protected Areas Commission to build on that. So that was an international summit, and it was really great to hold it here and to showcase what Sophia Point can do and what Guyana can do in terms of the biodiversity and climate crisis. On that day, we also had a MOU signing with Conservation International Guyana, which was very exciting. So hopefully you'll see that fundamentally part of what Sophia Point is about partnership working, and it's about doing things together and leveraging each individual organisation's skills to come together. So we signed an MOU with Conservation International, which was very exciting. In the afternoon, we had a stakeholder roundtable, which was a phenomenal meeting. We had Guyana's leaders in conservation, science and education. So we had Conservation International, we had WWF, University of Guyana, Protected Areas Commission, the British High Commissioner. And some of the outcomes of that roundtable meeting that we had here was the need for a nature alliance in Guyana, which came across very, very strongly. We talked about the need for more environmental education, which came through very strongly also. And again, a partnership approach to conserving Guyana's natural resources. So those were the main three things that came out of that stakeholder roundtable. So it was a really, really wonderful afternoon. And I'm going to finish with some nice shots of some of the biodiversity that we have in this wonderful little place. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Elsa. We'd like to invite Deputy Tushao to just come and say a few words.
His Excellency, President Dr. Irfaan Ali, special invitees, good afternoon. Indeed, it is a privilege to be standing here to witness this afternoon the signing of the MOU. As I said earlier, I had known this place when it was for a forest land. I had never known that a building so awesome like this would be erected on this land. Indeed, you had a vision. I must say, you and your husband. You had a vision. And I'm certain that you are proud for this vision to come true. And by inviting us to this special event, it shows me that you care for the indigenous people also. And you also mentioned that this is a place of learning where we can come to learn not only to the UG students alone, but even to the secondary school, the primary school, and even to, as we said in the olden days, you're never too old to learn, because I myself, I'm willing to learn also. So it is about learning, and we need to learn. We can learn so much from this place here, from this rainforest. It is about preserving our forests, the animals, the flora and fauna. But this afternoon while we were having a chat, one of the employees said, at one time, Sam and Miranda, and they were well known to me and we were close. There were a time when they were walking in the forest and a labario almost bit one of them. So I asked, what would you do if a labario bite you? They said, don't kill it. Don't kill it. So it is about preserving. So, so even if the labario bite you, you can't kill it. So it's about preserving. So we have come to learn a lot here, because we accustomed to, if you see a snake, we're ready to kill it. So once more, thank you for inviting us. And this is part of Rivers View community also, because our boundaries are above, from Goshen, from Makore to Badawarin Creek. So I'm really excited about being here this afternoon. So thank you very much.
Chairman of our board of directors, Robert Prasad, is a member of our board here too, Mr. Brian James, the Check Commissioner, Deputy Tushao, and the members of the community that listen today. My team that is here, that also is very important to the work that we do. Welcome all, and today I just want to maybe highlight three things. One, maybe just a little reminder of what a Protected Areas Commission does. Two, the tenets of the partnership or MOU that we signed earlier today, and what the immediate next steps would be. All right, so most of you already are aware of the work of the Protected Areas Commission, but this map here helps us a lot. So we are essentially mandated to protect, manage our protected areas. We have 5 protected areas stretching from the coast all the way down south. That is about 1.8 million hectares. And as you know, we have this mandate to double that by 2025, December next year. Easy work. We have a plan. We have a 7-point plan with quite a few action points, but we have, along with the help of our team on the board of directors too, our Damien Fernandez and Pradeep Bulanath, we've managed to pull together a very comprehensive plan of how we're going to achieve that, and we are going to achieve that. And so, yes, the Protected Areas Commission under the Act of 2011 was established under the PA Act, and we manage and maintain this space. And so the work that we do is important work. Like I say, it's also a business. It's the business of conservation, and we take that very seriously. And so this afternoon, around noon, we had a very historic moment, I like to say, where we signed the MOU with Sophia Point. It's a long time in the making. And the key tenets of that MOU really links back to what our vision really is, which is protecting nature and improving lives. Those two concepts, we believe, are not mutually exclusive. We can do both. And that all is reflected in our management plans, which by extension is reflected or reflects what is mentioned and rightly so in our low carbon development chapter. So one of the key things, and I think it makes sense since it's a research center, is for research and to build our capacity in that area. One of the key things that we are looking at under the MOU would be to, one, do some research in our research and monitoring stations. We have 2 stations in Shell Beach. We have 2 stations at Kaichor, and 2 stations in the Inuka Mountains protected area. We have commissioned the 2 stations at Shell Beach already, and work has begun in looking at things like the different physical attributes of the environment, not only thermal monitoring, but also looking at the physical environment. And one of the research that we are really interested in doing and understanding is, as many of you may be aware, there have been a lot of erosion on the coast. So we want to really understand, how much of it is climate change, how much of it is that 30-year cycle that we know exists, and where and what could we do to maybe, better protect our coastline, especially at Shell Beach. As you know, there are 4 types of the 7 types, 4 types of sea turtle nests there. So it's a very important location for us. And another key thing that we would like to do is some more proactive monitoring and management effectiveness in the protected areas, more so especially in areas that face a lot of threats, whether that's environmental or other human activity. And so the idea is to combine technology and local traditional knowledge. And so, for instance, one of the key things that we're looking with in partnership with the University of Exeter is looking at having these smart buoys that we can place in, for instance, at the Patara River, that would help us and send signals directly to an app that will tell us what's happening in the waterways, from the temperature to turbidity, sedimentation, and hopefully maybe they can add the feature of mercury. Let's cross our fingers. It's an expensive bit of technology, but that is something that we're looking to launch by March or so next year. Hopefully all goes well and we get equipment in-house and we can launch that. And of course, capacity building and how to most effectively use that equipment. And so those are, if I should summarize, key areas. So we're looking at protecting the nature. So how do we do that? Research, building capacity, implementing, using technology in the way that we monitor, so reduce our carbon footprint. We can know what's happening from a distance using an app and a device that sends information. And we can proactively proactively go to these places and see what's happening without, let's say, alerting people. That's something for another discussion. But so we can have a close eye on what's happening without raising eyebrows and really understand what's going on. So that's key for us. And of course, improving lives, and something that Elsa mentioned in her presentation, would be the community engagement aspect, the education. And like you rightfully said, it is important that we engage the future conservation stewards in what we call the proverbial conservation ladder early. And have that, and through our nature school as well in the zoological park, build back our program to what it once was, and help us, and together we can achieve a lot by engaging our urban community as well. And I mentioned, we have 54 communities that we work closely with that are either in close proximity to the protected areas or bordering the protected areas. But we should also not forget our urban community and schools in Georgetown, and getting across the information and the importance of our conservation work. So we're looking forward to doing that as well. So what are the next steps? The next steps, as is traditional with most of our partners, we are going to finalize maybe as soon as next week our work program. What is it going to look like? How it ties in with our management plans, and then we are going to launch and start getting ready to launch in March or so our buoy, our smart buoy in Kaitra National Park. So with that, I'd like to say thank you again to Sophia Point. Thank you, Nicola, for making this this all happen in this beautiful building. Architecturally, it's amazing how you did this in this location. I keep saying I've been here twice, and when I came in this morning, it's like the first time. And I mentioned to my chair over that we should probably steal some design cues for maybe our other station whenever the opportunity presents itself. So thank you very much again, and yes, let's hit the ground. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellency, President, co-founder, Nicola, and her team, members of the PSC, our good friend of Guyana, friend of the environment, the British High Commissioner, all our invitees. Just very briefly, to say that what we have today, the type of collaboration, is to further what it is our country and our president has set out to do. At the United Nations General Assembly, the President announced a very important initiative. That is the Global Alliance on Biodiversity. And the initiatives and intervention and efforts such as this will complement and will allow Guyana to continue to be that outstanding example, but more so, allow us to develop that type of global alliance that we need to further the President's initiative. We've made it quite clear, and the President has made it in various statements, but also clearly in the low carbon development strategy, that we are committed to achieving the balance in terms of developing our natural resources, but at the same time, protecting our rich biodiversity and our environment. And this type of program, this type of initiative that Sophia Point has undertaken, and that is why we reached out and sought to have this type of MOU and collaboration, will allow us and allow our country to be able to deliver on its goal internationally, but also what we seek to do at the national level. So I want to commend you, I want to commend your team, and certainly to assure you that the Protected Areas Commission, but certainly the government of Guyana certainly is very serious about its mission, its task, and its commitment, especially in the conservation and preservation of our rich biodiversity. Thank you very much.
Last year, Your Excellency, you did an amazing event with Tony Blair at the University of Guyana, where you had a discussion about the challenges of Guyana being really a metaphor for the challenges of the world. And it was an amazing event. And that was the official launch of Sophia Point before we had finished this building, but it was at the time that we turned the sod. And a year later, here you are in the building. And I would like to thank you very much for being here. And if you'd like to say a few words, we'd be very honored.
Thank you very much. Please have a seat. First of all, let me congratulate the entire team, for you and David, but of course your entire support team, the local team, and of course the High Commissioner and all the guys here. This is an amazing project that fits into our national development strategy that is buttressed under the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030. I've had very important engagements in the last 4 weeks. Conservation International, I met the chair, I met many of the board members. I'll be going to the board meeting shortly. I met many leaders who are in the space of biodiversity. We had great engagement with Oxford University on biodiversity and how we're going to develop a model around biodiversity. Now, there are many skeptics in the world because, as you know, even on the carbon market, the carbon trade, the model around that has not gotten the full support globally. And adding biodiversity and creating a market model around biodiversity, there are many skeptics who will say, how are you going to capture attention on both at the same time? But there are some things in Guyana that we must be very proud of. We're the best in the world when it comes to parks. There is no one better than us. So make no one tell you anything different. We are the best on forests. We have naturally done this based on cultural values, and our indigenous people must be complimented. We are the best in the world when it comes to forest management, purification processes, and also on the issue of deforestation. There's no one who can come close to us. And we are the leader in the world on market credits and developing a proven model for forest carbon and the forest. Our development strategy in the LCDS is a model that many countries can learn from. But we say that whilst we acknowledge that there's still much for us to learn, whilst we are still in the learning curve. But in that learning curve, we must acknowledge what we have. But why is this so important now? You see, when the population of a country reads the headlines around the world that we are somehow going to be the richest, fastest growing economy, then there's a natural question. How are we going to ensure we benefit from that? And as the local private sector, capital access and capital formation grows, they're going to look for opportunities. And natural resources is a major opportunity. So it is important that we develop and educate the population on this very delicate balance that is required. And the policies surrounding this, biodiversity, and also the environment and climate, is developed by the government. The PSC responsibility is part of that overarching architecture for oversight. So it's very important to look at the signals from the government in relation to the policies. And you will see that our signals are very clear and defined. That is why we announced the Biodiversity Alliance, because we wanted to send a global signal that one, biodiversity is important. If you don't think it's important, in the last 50 years, we have lost 60% of the world biodiversity. Biodiversity is important in maintaining the balance of nature, the ecosystem, the pharmaceutical industry. It is important for the existence of mankind. Research and development. So what we have to do, and what I think Sophia point allows us to do, is how is it we can integrate economic livelihood with environmental sustainability, with nature sustainability. Because as you see there, protecting nature, improving lives is about people. So how would we deploy this nature that we have to improve life, to create opportunities, to open up opportunities? And I was fortunate to visit Dumfries House in the UK, which, by the way, I think is the world's best model on innovation and creating value for people and community. It's a good start point. And I feel that here at Sophia Point, we should not only train persons on science and research, but as we get these students coming in, we have to let them know that nature as it is has in it entrepreneurial opportunities. How do we identify those entrepreneurial and livelihood opportunities? And how do we develop a program here that would teach them about these opportunities, that would help them to develop plans? So I am normally very short in speaking, but I want to say, and I want to challenge in the innovative aspect of what you do here, to be a bit different, to build out a business model out of nature that would teach people how you can earn, how you can develop economic prosperity from nature itself. And you have an excellent start point because you're well placed, and one of Dumfries House's big success is that they got the international brands to carry their product on the global market in the e-commerce space in which conscious shopping occurs. So if we have honey produced in the rainforest, if we have the local community organized to build the hammocks, build other things from nature itself, and then create a link to the market that is a higher value market and a market that shops with consciousness, then this can be the beginning of an exciting story. A new area in nature-based solution is now what they call forest farming. how do we farm on the rich floor of the forest? Because the forest is very rich, as we know, the floor. What is it that we can farm on the floor of the forest? And what is the value of what we farm on the floor of the forest? In Brazil, there is an exciting story about the nuts that comes from the forest. Very high value. How do we create value addition to that? So it is also important for Sophia Point in this biodiversity and nature story to build in it the business ecosystem that would allow persons to understand that nature can be kept, whilst at the same time your livelihood is not threatened, and on the contrary, offers you opportunity in livelihood. It is also important, I think, that now that we have this piece of asset here, that by itself is a pull factor for the community to get involved in the building out of a nature tourism facility where we can target students from the UK, from environmental schools to come here during the summer break, or to use this community as a community research and learning area that is connected to Sophia Point. So these are the things I think, and this is what the PAC should also help with. The PAC should be here working along with you on how we develop this model. And as Dumfries House showed, philanthropy for nature-based tourism is growing. And we can have big players coming in with Sophia Point as that center to work with the community in developing this. So as I congratulate you, I also want to see us move in a wider direction so that we can maximize and optimize the potential and the benefits that exist here. To the Deputy Tushau, I'm very pleased that you're involved and your community is involved. Riverview is a very special place. And we look forward to working with your community. We look forward to the hub and spoke mechanism. Because if you look at this facility here in relativity to Bartica, a major town, a major tourism facility in Baganara, then you can see the hub and spoke mechanism that can be created around this. But I look forward to the further building out of this concept. And I know, knowing the players, that this is right there. You know, even peanuts, growing peanuts in an organic way from the forest, and then making the peanut butter right here, by the way, that is not expensive in putting infrastructure in, and then getting a niche market for the peanuts. Just like King Charles did with the pineapples in Maine State, building back the cocoa industry, forest-grown coffee. All of these things are areas in which you can find support from us too, as we look at agroforestry and seek to integrate agroforestry in nature-based solutions. So thank you very much. And congratulations.
Words, and we will think about everything that you have said. So we're going to give you a tour of the actual building now, and it's a proactive working student facility. So we'll take you around the rooms. We can house 36 people. The laboratory, we're just going to show you a little tour of the laboratory and the dining room and the kitchen, and then we'll take you out in a short walk. Hopefully the sun will come out again. Just before we do that, we have a little plaque that we actually prepared last year that we would like you to finally unveil now that we're here in the actual. I hope you kept it covered on. Yes, we have. It's covered and ready for you, and we'd like to present.
the next time we see you again to this 5.1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Weather type data. So this is a permanent weather station. So it measures wind, temperature, rain, and we're going to link into the hydromet so that we can become one of your integrated systems. This is a data temperature logger. So when students are going to do their individual, if they want to know what's going on and what species they find, so it's the microclimate. And then this is what you call a tiny tag. So this is a bit of data. You stick it up and it measures temperature and humidity. So we have a few of those so we can get an understanding of the microclimate and the microenvironment around the forest. It's our camera equipment, and then this is a copy of our rapid biodiversity assessment if you would like to take one.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, so that was 2019, that's, I think you know this person there, yes. And then this here, this is our forestry monitoring. So we have tree tags here. So each individual tree that we measure will have its own ID. And then this is not a DBH tapers. So it's diameter at breast height. So you put it round and it tells you the diameter and the circumference of the tree, which helps to understand the age of the tree. And so that can help things like understanding carbon storage and obviously understanding how different trees have different types. This is our biodegradable marking tape, so when we do anything in the forest, this is biodegradable and it helps us to, although we use GPS, sometimes it can be out by a couple of meters and yeah, so that helps us. These are our camera traps, so we have 22 of these out at the moment, all in strategic locations. So yeah, very, very important piece of kit. This is a nature Wi-Fi cam, so we have Starlink, so we'll be able to stream wildlife cameras straight onto the internet. So these are an exciting piece of kit. And then we have our GPS units here, so we've been training our staff on how to use GPS. Yeah, so every camera trap that's out has its own unique GPS location, GPS name, so the camera, and we use rechargeable batteries. Very expensive per battery, but so they're about $5 per battery, but they get 500 charged, and it's much better, much more sustainable than disposing of batteries. And we do our data collection on tablets so that we don't have to worry about losing data, etc. So we're training our staff how to use data collection on tablets, and it all goes through the internet and gets all linked up. But we do always have backup weather writer labels, because you can never fail to rely on technology. We have, so this is our sort of birds, so we have a mist net. Have you ever seen a mist net out? So you put this is very fine mesh, you put it out in a long line and then the birds fly into it, and then it's quite a skilled thing to untangle the birds and bats, so that's what our good colleague Wally is training our staff to do, so slowly and slowly, so it helps us to understand what birds we have. Binoculars, scope, and then of course safety first, we always go with first aid kits. And then this is all of our torches, red light, white light, again, all rechargeable so that we are not using disposable batteries. Were you... well, we got this. Yeah, no. Oh, we do have a tourniquet case. We have a first aid kit, which we're very well equipped. So we have a defibrillator on site, tourniquets, I am emergency first aid trained. So yes, we have those.
So in good hands.
Yeah, so are you. Health and safety is definitely a top priority for us. We have to take it very seriously.
Should we throw the president the battery?
Yes. Well, this is the solar system. So at the moment we can see we're using 98% of our battery, and everything's going. The washing machine's on, the fridge is loaded, all the lights are on. So
even at night when we had students and we had laptops charging and it had been raining, we've never gone below 80%. So we are well equipped for, yes.
This is the only air conditioned one, isn't it?
It's not air conditioned.
We haven't air conditioned it yet. We built it so that it can be.
You're looking for any air conditioning.
No. So just
You're looking weird, tired, happy.
It's actually, show you if you want in the kitchen, but the outflow of the water is, the ladies have washed pots for 70 people today, so yeah, it's good.
Which room are we?
We're going
How
round
are we
the
going
front.
to go around this way? Won't we? Back out here. We had to push back about doing walls because originally it was just going to be hammocks because most students in field stations have hammocks, and actually our first going in students came in hammock. This is like the Marriott of to the ceiling because it just gets so hot immediately. Okay, so we're just going to shift. Oh no, I didn't say that. Radical idea, because everybody wants to close the kitchen, but this makes the kitchen cool. Yeah. These are amazing food.
I was
Okay, so we're going to walk back. I want.
Pick up the animals.
Okay, right here we come.
Okay,
That's
so we're going to check what's,
Okay.
How many days of recording is that?
well, it depends. I mean, 128 gig, that would probably last 3 months. So in terms of data, it's probably fairly large.
So you're thinking that you're checking all these 3 months.
How many days of recording is that?
Well, it depends. I mean, 128 gig, that would probably last 3 months. So in terms of data, it's pretty fairly large.
So you're basically you're checking them every 3 months.
Okay, so we have quite a few videos. That will be those coming up now. Let's have a look.
So
Oh my God!
Oh, wow!
You saw that?
There's a leopard! I mean, sorry, I'm joking. No, it's an Onsala or a Margay.
Was it?
Yeah, it's a small one. Hold on. Which number's this?
The very
No,
first video,
28.
she unlocked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. You need to come every time with us. It was 0028. Where's 28? Is that one? Oh, that's a different one. Oh my goodness.
That's
a jaguar.
Oh my
Jaguar.
goodness.
Oh my God.
Oh my word. My house is like 50 meters down there. Oh my goodness.
I told it was the advanced
You have
team.
a lot of
Oh,
data
hold
here.
on. Oh, that's an armadillo. Little armadillo.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
This is all your advanced team, President Ali,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
just checking out before you
Yeah.
came today.
It's
Okay.
amazing, huh?
This one might just be a false set off. Obvious. Oh no, it's squirrel. So I didn't realise that squirrels are very exciting in Guyana. So in the UK, squirrels are very commonplace for us.
Yeah.
And then Wally Prince came down and he was so excited that there was a squirrel. I was like, yeah, we have a squirrel right there. One that lives around. So I'm just randomly pressing here to see what we have. Oh, that's us. Yeah, this is us actually last time.
Oh. That shows it's functioning properly.
Exactly. What do we have
Let's see what we
there?
have here.
Is there something there?
Something will come, don't worry.
Oh, it's there, look, the agouti. Yeah. Oh, there, that's the first one that we put.
What is that though?
Ocelot.
Ah,
Yeah.
it looks like a jaguarundi.
Tiger cat.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a cat. So we have.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
oh, that's
Your dog.
That's my dog. Yes.
You take a lot of chances having a dog.
Sure, that's just now.
You know the favorite meat for the jaguar is a dog, right?
I've heard sweet meat they call it. Yes. So I can't remember which one we checked.
Yeah, where is the dog?
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. So we have 22.
We get all the big cats
Yes.
coming on
Actually, you
our...
have one to add there now. Two to add there now in the collection.
Yeah, we do. We do. Well, this coming week we've got. It's probably going to take us 2 days to go and. So what we'll do is we'll download all the data, swap the batteries out, and then analyze it and try to understand species density that we have to help us with what we have and what's special here. But yeah, that was exciting. That was very exciting. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So we had a very successful walk.
We've had a very successful walk. We don't need to walk far with you, do we?
It was a nice walk. You could go right up to the hills and there's some big trees up there.
What we know is that the animals come out for you as well as the people.
Sometimes though you go and check all the camera traps and it's empty.
Well, it's very seasonal, isn't it?
You and I guess you spent 3 hours looking for a ball. Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah?
You will spend 2 hours here looking for a ball.
So I'm leaving Rob here for the next 2 days with his camera.
Is he serious?
Yeah. He's staying behind with his camera.
Very good.
Yeah.
You said very nice things about you last night. That's because you were clapping her all the time.
Yeah. Wait, will you just have one more look? Let me take a photo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very sorry.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, quick. A
Perfect.
selfie for David. I'll send it
yes.
through.
Oh, yeah.
You come that side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah,
Right, split. Yay. I'll send it to you now.
You got to get all these guys who came to the forest with shoes a medal.
Yeah. Your leather shoes.
Exactly. They need, they're very special.
Exactly. Yeah.
the best polish.
I must come to Johnson. Yeah.
That's all right.
It's fine. I hope somebody that knows the way.
I think we took the wrong turn, but it's okay. It's fine. We'll just spend some more time. One of these cats can go like these here. Can go on here along the roadways.
Well, I can't see why not. I mean, when you were talking about this, yeah, they do. But all people that are around there, they do let them know. You're right. Was it you talking about having the flowering trees on the That sounds amazing. Yeah. Because they're wanting to beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nothing in the city itself.
Yeah, I know.
And once you plant plants, people must be less susceptible to the beautiful.
This is all the clouds that do them all in this one.
Yeah. You know what is very beautiful? It's important to do that.
Yeah, this one.
Guyana, when they cherry flowering in Toronto.
Yes, no, I know. But the cherry in DC as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the only prepared for here.
Actually, when we first came here, we packed everything up on one. I made them do all the grouting, I made them do the practice grouting.
Everything good, bro?
Yeah, man, it's good to see you. Let me get me. Yeah, sure, I get good one. I have to get after waiting for this picture. Yeah, man, I love your comments about the. I really like the comment about the. Yes, business. That's the way to go. Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, and I think. Yeah, and then with the whole crew, including you also, maybe, yeah. So everyone know it.
I don't have such a good outfit.
Yeah, definitely a 2000.
Yeah.
Jan. Yes, Jan. Get out of the helmet, come on.
I'll help him up. Jason, coming in.
The weather is friendly. Robert, your head looks like a wet fall top.
It's not eco-friendly.
You have a plantation problem.
They're not eco-friendly.
There's gap in the cultivation. Agroforestry. There's some need reforestation.
Agroforestry.
Some reforestation. No, he had overproduction. You're here, right? Yeah. You're here.
You send it to me. Okay.
Go there, son. Hey, quick. Yeah.